Hello, everybody. The Chelsea Flower Show is on this week, and I gather that of the 12 show gardens, 4 of them are showcasing the value of weeds. Uh, Most of us spend quite a lot of time if we're fortunate enough to have a garden, um, getting rid of weeds. But the president of the NHS, in talking about these show gardens, said that the weeds should be our friends, not our enemies. I one hope is not stretching the metaphor too far to liken our lives to a really beautiful garden with carefully tended, beautiful flowers, showcasing the best that we can be. But actually, for most of us, although we would like our lives and our personality to be attractive, there are things about us that we know are not attractive. Perhaps there are weeds in our garden. And it struck me as an interesting thought that weeds are our friends, so the president of the NHS has said, because they show us the quality of the soil in which they're growing. In other words, they show us what's happening beneath the surface. If dandelions are growing, it's probably because the ground is very dry and compacted. If fat hen is growing, it's probable that the ground is not very nutritious. Or on the other hand, if nettles are growing, it suggests that the ground is very full of nutrition. And if you Google in the right search, you can find a whole list of weeds and what each of them tells us about the ground in which they're growing. And I think if we look at our lives and we look at the things in our gardens, in the garden of our lives, that feel like weeds, then sometimes we can learn by looking at what they're telling us about what lies beneath the surface. For example, if we are feeling very antagonistic to somebody, but we're not sure why, I think maybe the question to ask is, do they remind me of somebody that in my subconscious I have had trouble with in the past? Or if we find we're being very inappropriately cross with a particular person because of something they say or do, I think we could ask ourselves, is there something in the history of our relationship with that person that we haven't dealt with properly? Or if we're feeling generally aggressive and antagonistic, we might ask ourselves, what are we frightened of that's bringing out this defensiveness? I think getting the right question isn't always easy, but I think sometimes it does us good to question those bits of our behaviour which feel as though they're not very creative, that can be unpleasant to other people or don't feel right to us. And as we ask that question and find out what's lying beneath the surface to cause that kind of behaviour, I think that provides an opportunity for dealing with it in a creative sort of way.